this movement really is in the stance for standing to protect our mountain. What it also is to stand against the injustices that have been done, the corruption, power. And we have quite an interesting tactic. If you notice, it's a very important, or not very important, but it's an interesting thing when you look at this movement. Many of the people that have stepped in at this point, we're all in our 20s. Our 20s or early 30s. And there's different reasons for this. And the reasons, as I see, well, kind of the fun part is, so we don't have all the history of politics. So like I was in the governor's office the other week and said, okay, you know what, we don't have any political, what you call it, filter. We have no agenda. We only get our agenda to protect our mountain. So, on the side, other people are like, well, don't say that he get an election next year. I don't care. We hanging out all the dirty laundry. I tell you, this get the skid marks. Mean kind. So, that's our thing. It's like, we just gotta clean out this closet because it has just gone beyond the point of ridiculous. For myself, growing up in Hawaii and looking and watching my makua, our kupuna, all of us who live in Hawaii, you know what it's like living here. Especially when it comes to how they tax you and how all these stupid, silly little laws that they throw here and there and there. It's ridiculous. And we have watched the generations before us suffer trying to fit into that system. A lot of us are like, no thank you. Power. My goal in life is not to bust my butt for the rest of my life to just try and make it. I think we're put here for better reasons than pay our taxes. So, with this, it is really shifting so many different things. And I just want to point this out. Poliahu, it's interesting that this movement, this again, nothing new. There have been people fighting for justice for many, many years. In all kinds of different arenas, whether it be for the rights of our kingdom, for environmental issues, for political corruption. I mean, it's been going. So, one thing, how do I put this? We are when I say we, a lot of the young generation that's moving forward here. As I told Oha, we are the prayers of our makua. We are the prayers of our kupuna. This is why for so long our kupuna fought to hold on to every part of our culture that they can. This is why our kupuna and our makua fought and put themselves in that ridiculous political system to fight and push in order to get Hawaiian-focused charter schools, Hawaiian education. But prior up into the 70s, it was still illegal to speak Hawaiian in schools. So how do you wipe out a culture? First thing, you take out the language. Because you take out a language, it's very difficult for us to identify with our prayers again. We don't identify with our prayers, we don't understand the stories that our kupuna and the songs and the chants that told us about how you're supposed to be in certain places. So that's the beginning of the disconnect. And when you disconnect the people, it's easy to take. So this is a long process that's been falling upon our people. It's no new story. It happened the same thing to the Native Americans. And as I travel a lot, it's the same thing that happened all around the world as far as Europe. I'm actually leaving in a couple weeks. I gotta go do my cultural exchange program. I'm gonna throw this out there because one thing here, I want to make this known too. In what's coming out of the media about what's happening, they are trying to turn this into a religious battle. They are trying to turn this into a race war. And that is so not how we stand. I am Hawaiian, Filipino, Irish, and Scottish. It's right over here. You see this spot? But in my journey, so our generation, the idea of also being mixed plate, that's not our stance at all. This is not a race war. This has nothing to do with that. It's mutual respect and understanding. So, and above all things for myself, there's another little thing I threw out there. Okay, I know some people don't agree with me. But for me, my stance is not even for human rights. That's not my number, of course I'm there for it, but it's not my number one. Our kupuna always spoke, the land is the chief, the people are the servants. In that understanding, the way we live today, we would flip it. We would put ourselves, our species as the chief. And the land is just subservient to do whatever we want of it. And because we've acted in this way for so long, actually not for that long, but you see how bad it gets real fast when you look at that. But because in our mindset we've shifted that, where the land is just there to serve us, all I can say is open your eyes and look around. Look what is happening to our planet. Our oceans in many places are toxic. The air we breathe is laced with chemicals. They're finding the easy pleasures that we find with our plastics. We are finding the traces of that plastic in the fetuses of our children. Humanity has gone astray. And the biggest thing is because we forgot our place. Our place and our reason for being. There's many people who wander around for many, many years wondering, what's my purpose? Why am I here? For a lot of us, we know why we were here. Just as it says, we are to be the shepherds of the land. We are put here to help be the, as we talk, our feet are on the ground. We are grounded, but our po'o, our piko maluna, is in the heavens. We are the sacred connection between heaven and earth. And by bringing that knowledge and that wisdom and that mana of our kupuna to our piko maluna, we do our hana, we work and we plant that and we bring that essence into the honua. Our job is to be akua. We can be akua if we live in a way that we encourage life. That's what a function of akua is. Any culture in the world, why did they take the time to pray to gods? Because they wanted them to help them with their lives, to bring them things for life, right? So part of that is don't just sit back and ask for it. As we also say, puli kalima ilalo. Turn your hands down. Could be no this. Do it. Akua gives us everything that we need. We just gotta be willing to do the work. And in that work, that's where we find our sacred connections. That's where we find our purpose. Makahana ka ike, you will learn in the doing. So, okay, sorry. But this is really what's at the essence of everything about Mauna Kea. Okay, it's much more than just the economical problems right now and the political squabbles. Because you know why sometimes we are not winning these wars or these battles? Is because that's the arena that we stay in. And it's not a human arena. It's a fictitious arena. All these rules and this stuff, we made it up. And if it was made up, then it can be unmade. And part of that is reground to what is eternal, what is really eternal. And that is the everlasting cycles of our planet, of our home. All of our ancestors, remember what part of the world you came from, where your ancestral lines come from. You'll find something similar amongst us all. And the pinnacle, highest point of our times, we were part of the cycles of our place. We did not simply, okay, what is it? We was a different kind of parasite. We didn't just latch on and suck the life till it was gone. That's what we do now. There was a time when our kupuna gave us all the instructions how to actually live symbiotically with our environment. So we became we fed the land. It just looked like some basic practice. Let me see, fish ponds. Hawaiians, we had our fish ponds. All we're doing doing is we're mimicking the natural environment of like tide pools, you know, where the fry come in the little tide pool. All we did was we mimicked that and just made it a little bit bigger. Okay, really bigger. But the same process, we didn't like shift and change and cut everything. We just kind of added to it and we fed the land. Yeah, by giving these safe corridors for the fry to come into the makaha, to the fish gates. Some of you guys are like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. Okay, we get the fish gate like that. When they're little fish, they can fit through. They live in the safe pond and then they get big and fat, they can't fit back out. But it keeps the cycle of everything going. Everything still flows. The fresh water still flows in. It still feeds everything. Hi. And you get fresh fish right there. Fresh. Healthy. And the whole environment is still moving with it. Look at lo'ikalo practice. The lo'ikalo, we never grade the whole ground. All we did is we kind of shape the natural swamplands. Yeah, we never just bring water from Timbuktu over the mountain, pump it up and over and turn a desert into an oasis. Yeah? If you're in a desert, you grow desert plants. You're in a marshland, you grow marsh plants. So all we did is we kind of shaped it so that it naturally moved. In where we produce so much of our food, the animals could still live. The io, the stilt birds, all the ducks, everything, they could still live in there. And everything, we just kind of, we farmed the wild. We were able to farm the wild. The practice of feeding the ko'a. Yeah, the fish, that's the ko'a are the shallow coral heads out in kind of the deep waters. It was a common practice that the kupuna go and they feed these ko'a, and all the fish are drawn to these spots. Yeah? And with that practice, constantly going, fish were not afraid of boats. When they saw boats, they go, feeding time. They came. You see the old timers, they don't need to go out there with a fish finder. Beep, 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 beep. They go to the ko'a and they whack the canoe. And the fish come to the canoe. Now look, nowadays it's like, wow! It's like, we're not against astronomy. We don't care what they're building up there. You could be building a Hawaiian temple on the top and I would still be fighting you on this. Because in the tradition of our kupuna, we do not go up there. I hear some people say, we go put the aqua there. I was like, so what that mean? Going to attract us up there all the time? No. With the idea for the aina to be, for those areas to be kept in their sacredness and its purity requires our absence. Something that humans don't remember anymore, you know, we tell them, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. These spaces just require us to leave it alone. But again, different perspectives have come here. Where many other people that come, they look at it and they go, look at this unused land. Leave it alone. Because these places, though to the human mind of development, and I don't know who calls the shots of what is considered development. You look at some places, those places being left alone is what's generating the life for us to be able to be here. Because if we start hanaing all these things, we're not going to be able to be here. We're not going to be on this planet. So again, Mauna Kea, this building that they're trying to build is literally the last straw. It just turned out to be a very big straw. So, okay. Think like that. A couple of things, and I guess you can say, let's talk a little bit of the legal situation of what's happening on the mountain. So again, currently right now, the lease is held by the University of Hawaii. Yeah, they hold the lease of the mountain. It's a 65-year lease. They pay $1 a year. Yeah? The discovery was in subleases. When they began to sublease, and then they can make money. Telescopes make money off of viewing time. Yeah? So I think one of the telescopes, I don't know, some guy when he comes down and talks with us, $20,000 a night. Oh, money. But what comes back to the community, not much. They say, well, we bring a lot of economy to the island. Okay, so what we discovered. You look at the, what they call it, economic, at the end of the year, they do what they call it? No, like after. I can't hear you guys.
Audit.
Audit, like the audit, yeah. So at the end, when it shows all the money that's been worked in this thing and everything, what is that one guy? He said like $900 million a year. Oh, where's that? Because in reality, all they're showing is the trade that comes through the island. Doesn't mean that money, that $900 million, comes to Hawaii. It's business that was done in Hawaii, but it goes right out. Yeah? So really, the economic give back is crumbs. Even TMT. So here's what they're feeding. Okay, now if anybody here get the random survey call? Okay, so we're getting calls from all over the place. People are TMT has hired a private they call it a thing when they have to survey company out of Michigan, and they're calling random Hawaiian citizens, random, like people who have no idea. That's what they're trying to get. And it's extremely pro-TMT. So I went on uncle and said, and they tell me all these kind of questions. Like, first thing they would ask us, like, are you a voter? Then they ask, don't you know, this is how they say, don't you know that it's going to give $1 million a year to education? Don't you know that, what's your stand on this? Of course, the poor girl on the phone, she's just doing just whatever they told her for free, right? But they're at that level, that they're just trying to get all this stuff. Okay, $1 million a year for education. You know what that equals down to? About $4 a year per child in the DOE education system. Okay, so we will give up our sacred aina and all this mia for give every student in Hawaii one lunch. I know some schools is more expensive than that now for one lunch. So, yeah, no, it don't work. And again, the tactic too of offering that, you know what that's really saying? Will you sell your spirituality for this? Will you sell and risk your natural resources for this? I don't know. I will not go after the science of astronomy at all. It's an amazing science. I myself, again, I'm a child of the 21st century, okay? I'm like Star Wars kid. But there's an idea of, for myself, okay, maybe I'm an even bigger techie. I already see the potential of science today to be able to obtain the same sciences, the same stuff, without being so detrimental to the land. Come on! Give me the big science. And as we found too, as their whole call, they keep pushing out that it's going to be the biggest telescope in the world. That's already falling. It's actually, in this new age of large telescopes, it's actually the smallest. In Chile already there's a 32 and I think a 37 or 39 meter going up, and then there's the European, a really big telescope. It's called a really big telescope. It's like 40 meters big. And then in 3 years the brand new Hubble is going up. So on my science side, I'm like, oh yeah, see, we're going to be able to see farther than all that. So we don't have to go down a mountain.
Right.
The good fact is not going to be that great. So yeah, so it's been fought in the courts for many years now. Everything has been rubber stamped. In fact, every telescope on there has just been rubber stamped pushed through. They keep saying, we've already gone through the 7-year process. Well, if the process is faulty, then that's your fault. You went through a 7-year bogus process. That's what we're saying. Not to mention, okay, I'm not going to throw a little bit of a, let's be compassionate, to the governor's office. Okay, give it a, and my only little bit of compassion I'm talking about is, the Ike administration has only been there for 5 months. They're not the ones responsible for bringing this up here. It started back with lingo. We all remember that history? Yeah. So it started back then, and then it got carried on by Abercrombie. Yeah? And you guys all saw what they were like. You know, especially Abercrombie's term pushing at PLDC, was that what it's called? Yeah. You hear about that? Basically, they tried to make a fast track law where you could start your constructions before doing an EIS, environmental impact statement, or you could do your construction before that. Hello, that's kind of defeating the whole purpose, right? But you see the level of like craziness that's actually in our government seats. They say, well, you voted for it. Well, we didn't have much options, did we? And no, not all of us voted for it. But, so it's a process that happened before. So with the EGA administration, for myself, I say we have an opportunity to influence this guy. Basto already in his first couple months, he got like the gas for some of his choices already, so he's kind of already in the hot seat. However, please remember this, and I'm trying to give you guys as much information as you watch what happens to. The state is technically in their illegal system unable to technically just step in and stop the project. Okay? For a couple reasons why they wouldn't. One, in their legal system, they've already gone through the process, so they have the go-ahead according to their terms. The other component is, if the state was to simply call a stop to the project, they could face lawsuit. Yeah, they could get sued. So, smart on their end. They not jumping the gun or something. On the side of TMT and what's happening right now, I've actually finally gotten direct communication with TMT. Chairman of the board for TMT is a very wonderful man by the name of Henry Yang, Professor Henry Yang. He's an amazing individual. His history and what he's done for his community is real. I'll tell you right at the bat, I am not an astronomer, I'm not a scientist, I just sit on the board. TMT is a non-profit organization. So, getting some of this back stuff has been really interesting. You know, for me, I'm just from Hong Kong, so I'm having to learn this stuff as I go. So, what we have an understanding right now, so what's currently happening right now is a little bit of a ceasefire agreement. Well, it's not totally there yet, but kind of like, they've acknowledged that, okay, you know what, there's more to this that we never see. And according to Uncle, well, he never said it straight up, but what I've heard, they're not sure if they have been told everything that was actually happening. So they're like, okay, wait, let's look over, they're kind of like, whoa. So, I mahalo them for that. They're acknowledging that something's out of place here. Yeah? And so they've kind of agreed, they said that during this discussion, they're not going to try and push their way up the mountain. However, they still have 4 big tractors sitting on the mountain. So, I've been putting it out there a little bit, but I did make the request for them, if they'd be willing to bring the tractors off the mountain, then that will help to ease the tension of the people. Plus, the 2 tractors are broken and one's leaking oil. EPA, they don't want to call it EPA yet, they did. There's an oil spill on the top of the mountain, on top of the rest aquifer. Yeah, we're ready. Okay, so, I'll get to questions. But, so some of you guys, you saw the footage, this whole movement started back in March. I got the call, someone said tractors are moving up the mountain. And I was just like, hell no. So I just got in my car, I shot it up there. They blocked the road, so I ran up. But they were able to get the tractors to the site. And then some of the people who were able to make it to the mountain, we'd agreed that we're going to try and stand guard from the next day, which was a Wednesday. We didn't get the chance to prepare because we got the call the next morning. Tractors are moving and they're grading. Oh, I flew back up the mountain again. So if you guys got the footage, this one I went and catch with my camera. I was like, what? Where is your culture advisor? Where is your archaeologist? Okay, this archaeologist was sleeping in the car like 200 yards away and they had no cultural monitoring. So just, you know, the power of the camera. And they would turn around and I would like show me back. And then boom, they would pack up and leave. Okay? So we had them off the mountain for a while. They never came for the next few days. The following Monday we were able to put the word out. We probably had a good 100 people there. They came up, full energy, we blocked them. We talked with the cops, back and forth, going on. We stood, we held. 8 hours they sat in that car, 2 other trucks went died, headphones jump start them. And they left. Those are the first 8 weeks in this stand. Then they returned on the Thursday. And that is a day that you can see a lot of the footage where they came and the rest were made. So I want to actually kind of just take the time now to address a difference in this movement. And that is an understanding of what we've called the Kapu Aloha. The Kapu Aloha is the principle in which we stand on. And again, it's also this method. It's not like we just knew how to do this. It was because we've watched. You know, as a child, I went to Kanoka, so I was involved or being shown Hawaiian issues and this stuff when I was young. And one thing I always saw was fighting for it. And when we fight for it, the emotions come out. Okay, now you guys in Puna, Pele, the greatest one to teach you about blowing up. And in all of the Olalos of Pele, when she loses her cool, she always ends up doing something and everybody, the Akua gotta come after and say, look what you did. She goes, oh, sorry. So in that understanding, in these teachings, why sense have these stories if we're not going to apply them to ourselves? So in the observation of that, we thought, okay, we've watched our kupuna, we've watched our Akua do these processes. Some have worked, some have not, but no matter either way, the pain and the hot and the ma'au was too much to handle. So let's try something else. And plus two, with this understanding, Mauna Kea is Kapu, it's a sacred mountain. Then how do you conduct yourself on a sacred mountain? In a sacred way. So holding yourselves, a Kapu again, I know you see the signs Kapu, no trespassing. That's not the proper translation. Okay? Kapu does not mean not allowed. Kapu is a standard that is held. It's a sacred law. It's not only about what you're not supposed to do, sometimes it's also about what you have to do. I like to look at it as a goal. When you set a Kapu for yourself, you're setting yourself at that standard to hold yourself accountable for your actions. So upholding that. And when you are able to achieve that, that is when you spook to that next level. So we've set the Kapu. And the Kapu is to be in aloha. Now what does that mean? What does aloha mean? We're not talking about ushi-kushi labi-labi. Okay? That's only one idea and perspective of what aloha is. I like to quote kupuna, they like that. Antinowana Busby, she looks at aloha this way. Aloha is a firm commitment to uphold honor. A firm commitment to upholding what is right. That is aloha. So you know when you gotta you gotta put your foot down and it's kind of like, no, you are not going. That is also aloha. Sometimes when you gotta discipline the child, that's out of aloha. Aloha would be, oh, don't do that. And they still run around doing everything. Then they're gonna learn that bad habit. So sometimes you gotta be firm and, hey, I told you, don't do that. That is aloha. It's making sure that the pathway to righteousness is upheld. That is aloha. So with that understanding, that, okay, I'm going to quote my brother, Ko'okai Kanuha, he was supposed to be our other speaker tonight, but unfortunately he's actually a holo right now on a diplomatic exchange. But quote him because good way that he interpreted this too. When we are also in a stance that we are defending this, we're defending the mountain for our kupuna and for our future generations. Well then when we do it, we need to remember our future generations are watching. So how we defend is going to be important because they're going to learn. And however we are in front of them is how they're going to be. So we have to think into the future of their future. So we conduct ourselves under a Kapu of aloha. It's not just how you act, but how you think. Everything that is aloha, whether it's being respectful, being compassionate, being patient, understanding. I don't know. Give me some more. Responsible, accountable. That's all aloha. So holding yourselves to that. So that's why sometimes you're like, oh no, we're gonna write on top of the paper we're gonna write on top of the paper what the Kapu Aloha is. It's like, no, don't do that. I actually said, don't do that. Because it's gonna become black and white and everyone's gonna be limited to that thinking. And like the Western world, they teach us on the paper. It's like, wow, I look at it. So for me, it's like, no, you let everybody have their sovereign spirit in understanding what their aloha is. Everyone got to take themselves to their own higher potential. And one of the first things right off the bat, one of the first things is, wherever you are right now, you need to achieve the next level up. Our kupuna always say, "Kulia I kanuko," strive for your highest. So wherever you sit, there's always an up. That's why the heavens are endless. So we can always make better. So wherever we are, every day we try again, we try again. Sometimes, but we are kanaka, we go slip up here and there, but I tell you that it's infectious, Kapu Aloha. You watch all over Facebook. People, someone say something, you go, on Facebook. Little bit down the feed, little bit. Halamai, I'm sorry. I will compose myself better. Where 5 months ago, you never hear that. Yeah? And I tell you, with Kapu Aloha, it is hard. It's very hard. Okay, now I promise I'll close with this one. An analogy of the Kapu Aloha. By profession, I'm a Hawaiian studies teacher. I taught kindergarten to college Hawaiian studies for almost a decade. And a lot of times I'm dealing with my little ones, even the teens, and I explain to them, okay, especially when they get into fights. All right, you tell me this. What is easier to do? Someone get up in your face, or whatever. What's easier to do? Come right back at them, right back, swing your fist, swing your hand, throw something at them, just on the impulse. Or, compose yourself, hold yourself, listen to what they're saying, address them in return in a composed manner, and either engage in conversation, or maybe remove yourself. Which one's easier to do? Baka! You get up and you think, what? That's easy! That's why, little kids do that. You watch toddlers do that. Reaction. So therefore, a stronger person will take the harder road. One who swings the hand or lets the tongue fly shows their weakness. So, my manao is we all better get tougher. When we say tougher, it's not this. It's this. Centering ourselves. That's what Kapu Aloha teaches. I still get people like, Kapu Aloha, eventually you have to get a card. And it's like, then I just gave up. So people say, well, it's never going to work. Well, who has a meeting with the governor's office? It works. It's working so far. So until I see otherwise, we're going to follow it. It's kind of fun. I realized you don't have to get into politics by going to school and stuff. Just go stand in the road. So, for me, you can see now the movement of Mauna Kea is much bigger. It's not just about stopping a telescope on the mountain. Because it's not even about the telescope. It's about stopping. I never used the word desecration today. But stopping damage to a natural feature, I'm trying to make it as plain as terms, that actually provides the natural resources that we need to survive. But on top of that, the mountain is also a spiritual place for the people. On top of that, it's critical for the natural environment and there's laws that protect it. On top. Get ready. So, with that understanding, I'm tasking, whenever I go do these sharings, we've decided that we're going to task everybody. Because this is far from over. We're planning to be on that mountain for years if we need to. I hope not, because it's cold. But we gotta do what we gotta do. But with that, a lot of people are asking, what can we do to help? And in some cases, when there's a lot of things happening on the legal side, if you are skilled with politics and legal stuff, I do encourage everybody, go read up on it. Go look into all the sources and just kind of see what's going on. Go read the environmental impact statement and then compare that with like the rules of conservation zones. And you do a little bit of math for yourself to say that doesn't really make sense. That's what we're saying. Education is key. So we're also being very open where most people, okay, real fast. A couple weeks back, we had an event held in Mauna Kea, which is really awesome. I see my Mauna Kea people skater Ohana back there. Hey guys. But a beautiful exchange with astronomers, not from TMT, but from Canada France Telescope. Wanted to do a sharing and with Kanaka Maoli and people with another point. It was called Perspectives of Mauna Kea, Future Perspective of Mauna Kea. And everyone was like, debate. You were going there. I heard it had choke cops all over town and everything. It was one of the most beautiful exchanges. I kind of set it up. I was like one of the people setting it up, and I never even show up. I was stuck in Honolulu, and for like FaceTime, hi everybody. But you know, it gives the opportunity. You know what? We could come in there yelling at each other and what? What? We gotta start recognizing the things that really don't work. Change it. What's stopping you? So, the task we're putting out there for everybody to one is to educate themselves, but also we're putting this kahea out to the lahui, to everyone. All those who call Hawaii their home. You're going to live here. Your kuleana is to take care of here. That's for all of us. So we're going to be encouraging, we're calling out for the encouragement for more halavai, more gatherings in each community. Bring everyone, come together with a purpose. And I challenge you this. Put the land as your priority. Your personal human wants, secondary. See what happens. Here's the question we pose to everybody. Where would you want to see Hawaii or your place where you reside in 50 years? That's still not really long in our thinking, but where do you want to see? What do you want to see come forth? Mindfully keeping the aina as your first thought and kanaka second. Yeah? So, just a challenge. Talk about it at your dinner table. Talk about it with your friends. Talk about it with your family. Call little meetings together. Just start talking story. Yeah? Start talking about something. Turn the TV off. Talk. Yeah? Go outside, and when we talk about environment, check out so you actually know what your environment is. And understand it. Communicate with the people of Mauka of you and the people Makai of you. Because it's only going to work like that all together. So, with that, mahalo nui loa. If there's any questions or anything, like, mahalo.